to Family Life with Mama Rita. It was so interesting last week with Mrs. Benedicta Akita, and I know she answered the question, but today, you know, last week I promised you we were going to bring in a social worker, but before then, I don't know how many people live streamed with our WMG conference. Oh my God, I danced, I jumped, I screamed. After everything, I felt like I was 16 one more time. I really had fun. If you didn't live stream with us, trust me, you've missed a lot. And for the young people who came, I believe that everything that was taught, you didn't just listen, you are going to run with it and then run with the vision. Trust me, in 10, 20, 25, 30 years' time, you are taking over Ghana. So I hope you really learned a lot. I can't wait. I'm already ready for next year. I'm ready. I'm going to get City of Shiloh ready for you. But I really, really had fun. Today we want to continue with the different ways of having babies. We've realized that it's not every woman who is meant to get pregnant and go to the labor ward. I mean, unfortunately, people have tried and tried. They tried IVF, they've tried everything, and it didn't work. And we concluded that if everything else fails, the next thing might be adoption. Today with me is Dr. Anastasia Pei Mawudoku. If I didn't mention it well, you correct me. She's the Chief Social Development Officer and the Regional Director of Social Welfare in Accra. PhD research on adoption and childhood from University of Ghana, the premier university. Wow. She has 29 years of rich working experience with the Department of Social Welfare. We will do a few discussions and make sure that all your questions come in. I keep telling you, don't wait till they go and then you want to let me advertise my ignorance. Please, this is not my area. So whatever questions you have on adoption and social welfare and everything, please come in with your questions. And then also with us, you saw her last week, is Mrs. Benedicta Akita, a lawyer with Sam Okejeto and Associates. She did so well. She answered the questions, but there were some of the questions she said we will wait for the social worker to come. So pleasure is mine to welcome Mrs. Benedicta Akita one more time, and then Dr. Anas to Family Life.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Rita.
And I want you to know that the world is listening to you. We have people from Nigeria, from Togo, from everywhere, and people really, really want to know a lot. Dr. Nas, I want to start with you this evening.
Just a little correction before, but my PhD research is on adoption and child welfare.
Oh,
not
child
welfare.
Oh, wow. Wow, child
Welfare. So not childhood.
Oh, okay. Child welfare.
Yeah.
My co-host gave me the wrong information.
That's okay. Yeah.
So, Dr. Nas, please tell us about the Department of Social Welfare and the different things you do there. We know there are so many things, and sometimes as lay people, we get very confused.
The Department of Social Welfare is a government department.
But welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome.
You. It is a government department.
I'm so honored to have you here. I know you are busy. To get to here today, oh, I thank God. I made the sign
Rita,
of the
I'm
cross.
here, I'm here. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So the Department of Social Welfare was officially established in 1946.
1946?
Yes,
Wow.
1946. And have been in existence since then. It started, after the Second World War, where our men were conscripted into the colonial army.
Okay.
Those in the cities, the families were in disarray. Children started having problems because their fathers were not around. And family support for those who have left the villages to the cities. Also, so there was a problem, and that was why the department was established to actually help resolve those issues in the country and to help the citizens take care of their children and family issues.
Wow.
Currently, the department is involved with so many things. We have a 3-core program.
Okay.
That's justice administration and welfare.
Okay.
We also have community care, then child rights promotion and protection.
Wow.
And we have sub-activities and others. So when it comes to hospital welfare issues, medical social work, we have the juvenile courts, the probation officers.
Wow.
Yes, who investigate juvenile crimes or offense where children are involved, then make recommendations to the courts to help them decide on juvenile cases. Then we have panel members at the family courts with probation officers who also help investigate family issues that have been brought before the courts.
Wow.
And submit social inquiry reports for the courts to take decisions or decide on such cases. We have social workers who also help in divorce and matrimonial court with investigations, with that make recommendations for the court to decide on custody and access cases in divorce and matrimonial cases.
Wow. So finish and then.
We have social workers who also do suitability assessment on adoption applicants.
Okay.
And also provide reports, what we call home study reports, to the courts who decide on final adoption processes and give the legal order, adoption orders at the end of the process. So adoption starts with social welfare and ends with the court.
That's a lot.
Yes. And then for children who come into care, when a child is abandoned, those we find in the gutters, those whose mothers are incapable of taking care of them, when they come into care, social welfare officers do what we call social inquiries or social investigations and write reports and also apply to the court for care orders.
Okay.
When children come into care, we have to apply for a legal order, what is called a care order, before that child is put in the formal welfare system. Then the director of social welfare becomes the statutory guardian of the child and make decisions. So we have care plans and exit plans for children who come into care. So with the exit plans, it can be reunification of the child with the biological family, foster care, short-term foster care, long-term foster care, or adoption.
Wow.
Yes. Social workers or the staff of Department of Social Welfare also apply for care orders for destitutes, for those who do not have homes. At times we have people who travel to the cities and do not go back home during their work life. Then at a point when they are not able to work, they have nowhere to go to. So social workers, after their investigation, obtain what we call a care order from the court, then send them or look for a place, accommodation for them. Currently, we have one central destitute infirmary at Bekwai. That place, in fact, my heart bleeds when I have to send somebody there. The place is in a deplorable condition, and we will all have to help to renovate the place. We had one in Accra, in Choko, a place called Obeweku. That place have been taken over and is being used for something else. Instead of the destitute infirmary. I think we will need to really look at that issue and, if possible, build the place or renovate for this, because the Seshi Bekwai is so far from those of us in the south. At least we should have 2 of such homes in Ghana.
So we only have one currently.
Currently we have
for the
one.
whole country.
Yes, and that one is in a deplorable condition as we speak.
I have so many questions running in my head.
The Department of Social Welfare also mediate in family disputes. What we call maintenance cases. For those having, at times when the couple is not together, then the other party feels he wants to punish the partner for whatever reason. But we should all know that the child didn't ask any of us to bring him or her to into this world. So for something the 2 of us did, which resulted in bringing a child into this world, we both need to come together and take care of that child. At times they have misunderstanding, or we all do experience some difficulties, and the Department of Social Welfare help such families to take care of their children.
Dr. Anas, let me ask you this. How different is your unit from DOFSU? Because with what you are saying, it looks like
Social Welfare Department is the department mandated to do this. DOFSU comes in, you know, when you refuse to provide necessaries of life, it is a criminal offense. And DOFSU comes in there. So you could be sent to court and imprisoned for failure to provide necessaries of life.
So in this case, when somebody has an issue, family issues, with the children, most at times when they go to the police station, they refer them to DOFSU. Do we have to come to your unit first and then you do the referral, or they refer to you?
In some DOFSU units, you have social welfare unit attached to the DOFSU. So they deal with the criminal aspect, then social welfare deals with the civil aspects. So you often find us together. But because often you go and you know it is DOFSU, so you don't realize that you may be working with a social worker. When you go to the Greater Accra Regional DOFSU, we have a social welfare unit attached to their office. Yes. It's just on the ground floor.
So now, you've touched my heart. With this issue, we also, how do you call the place?
Bekwai.
Bekwai.
Yes.
I mean,
Central Destitute Infirmary.
Good. So that place is for people who don't have
a place to go, and they don't have relatives. It is difficult to believe we have people like that in Ghana.
They don't have relatives in Ghana.
We have come to Accra, we work, and we don't go back home. So we lose touch with the family. And at times they all die. And because they didn't visit home, they have no one to go back to.
So why is it that for an important thing like this, we only have one in the whole country in Bekwai?
We had two. There's one that was in Accra, Obeweku. That place is popularly known as Obeweku.
I know the place.
Good. So maybe we need to revisit.
So what is your department doing so that we get a place like that? Because if you look at these Kayaye, like you're saying, they come from the north, a lot of them are abused, they sleep on the streets, there's nowhere to go. What happens to them?
You know, we have something called social housing.
Okay.
The Kayaye issue, we need a multi-sectoral approach to it. The department has tried in the time past to screen them and to also understand their situation. Some of them come during the dry season to work and then go back home.
Okay.
There are some who are just, they calm down,
they
stay. Some of them also have learned various trades and need tools to work with. So, and for those who will stay, maybe we should also look at accommodating them. So we could have, like I was saying, social housing, where we build a hostel that they can lodge in, then go to work in the morning. Currently, you realize that some people are actually running something like that for them, where they rent kiosks to them. So about 10, 5
are in one kiosk.
Yes,
small kiosks.
So they contribute maybe 2 cedis for a night. So after work, they lodge there, go to the public bath house, shower, then sleep. The following morning, they are gone to work for the period that they stay in Accra. So we need, it's not something we can just take decisions on now. We actually need to engage them before taking decisions.
From where you sit, what are some of the key family issues that come to your department? Key family issues.
Currently, we have mothers who find some of their children a burden to care for and would like to voluntarily relinquish to the state. Yes, the law permits that. If you are pregnant and you feel, you know, sometimes you don't plan for it, you can walk to the Department of Social Welfare, tell them your story. They will investigate, of course.
Okay.
Then take you through the process to relinquish the child to the state.
Okay.
It actually ends in court, where social welfare officers who have been specially trained for that will take you to the notary to depose of a relinquishment affidavit, cancel you for a period, take you to the High Court for confirmation of the relinquishment. Then you can go. Meanwhile, the department tried to support such people before they do the relinquishment.
Oh, okay.
So
you support them financially?
Not only financially. Some, it's not just about money. You provide them with information, so they give informed consent.
Okay.
For those who need some financial assistance, government does not have money. Social welfare is a government department.
Okay.
But then the officers are trained to look for funding from people like you and organizations. So if that is the need, we support them because we don't want to make it look as if poverty is equal to irresponsibility.
Okay.
But the law is also very careful. So you realize that you don't have to pay them for relinquishing their children.
Okay.
So people turn it into a business.
Business.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's quite complex a bit.
Wow. So, Mama, the question everybody wants to hear. With all the babies that are thrown away, and with people coming to your office to give up their children, why is it so difficult for people to adopt in Ghana? I don't know what happens elsewhere.
I don't think it is difficult. Do you know the problem?
No.
From where I sit, most Ghanaians do not like to follow due process.
Okay.
They always want shortcuts. They wouldn't come straight to social welfare. Even some pick up an application and they want their own child. So they go for in vitro, artificial insemination. It is only when that does not work that they look at adoption as an option.
Okay.
Some go to prayer camps and the pastors and the prophets prophesy that they will have a child.
Okay.
So they want to do charity and other things and wait for God's time.
Okay.
So they wait until they are 50. They wait until the eggs are no more there before they come to social. And you realize that with adoption, if lawyer told you, the law is very clear. You must not be less than 25 for in-country adoption. And you shouldn't be more than 55 for in-country adoption. For inter-country adoption, not below 25 years of age and not above age 50 for non-relative adoption. We have about 4 different types of adoption in Ghana.
Okay.
We have the non-relative in-country, then relative in-country. We have non-relative inter-country. Inter-country is where a Ghanaian or a foreigner living abroad has come to Ghana to adopt the child for the purpose of taking the child abroad.
Okay.
Then we have international adoption, where a foreigner living in Ghana decides to adopt a Ghanaian child.
Okay.
After the adoption, that foreigner can decide to stay or take the child back to his home country or her home country.
Okay.
And with the relative applications, you may have, in rare cases, we even have siblings adopting younger siblings.
Okay.
Then we have an uncle or aunt adopting a niece or nephew, where the child is orphaned. And there are times that some of our family members have a lot of children and are not able to take care of them. So a relative can decide to support, because at times when you decide to provide money for the care of such children, it's thinly spread, and at the end of the day, none of the children is able to get adequate care. So they decide to pick a few and take good care of them. And often such children become conduit pipe to helping the other siblings.
Okay. Wow. So, first, in your estimation, how long do you think the process is, or the process must take? There are a lot of people who are listening to us and watching us and want to go through social welfare to have a child.
You actually cannot go through adoption process successfully without social welfare.
Okay.
When you use the back door, where people go to hospitals, private hospitals, maternity homes, and then some people who arrange
Surrogacy.
so many other things. And you know, in some of the procedures, there's even a lacuna because we don't have a law.
Surrogacy.
Yes, for such.
Please break the word down. I didn't go to the same
There is
school.
a gap.
Okay.
So it's a gray area in law.
Okay.
So with such process, you go around, then you get to the embassy, especially those living abroad.
Yeah.
Then the embassy tells you, look, Ghana does not have a law for this particular process. Go back to social welfare. In some circumstances, they even prepare birth certificates for them. Then you get to embassy, they do their own, and they say, this is not your biological child. Go back and adopt, because Ghana does not have a law. I've had instances where people come, you explain the process to them, and it's like, ebecha dodo, it will take too long, so they want a shortcut.
Yeah.
So they go and get their own whatever, through whatever means. Then at a point, they realize they have to travel and the child cannot go.
Wow.
And they have to come back to social welfare. And you know, at times the accounts have this saying, "Untumi nyane bibi." Do something about it.
Do something about
but
it.
But it isn't
Shorten
everything that we can do something about. There are laws. And you know, when it comes to child welfare, child care issues, and family issues, there's a very thin line between providing a service and committing an offense.
Okay.
So if you are not careful and you try to bend the rules, you break the rules, and once you are on the other side of the law, you are in trouble.
Okay. So, Dr. Nas, tell us the process we should go through in Ghana to be able to adopt a child. As I sit here, people come to me all the time, and I don't know the process. So, educate us on the process we must go through.
Okay. With in-country adoption, the application forms are with the regional social welfare officers.
Okay.
So when you see the regional director of social welfare in your region of residence, they will give you the application form and explain the processes.
Just to cut you, for Accra, where is the regional office?
The regional office is situated within the Regional Coordinating Council.
Where is that?
The yard called Workers'
College.
College. Yes.
So you are listening to us. The yard where Workers' College is, Institute of Languages. You go there and you ask for the regional office of social welfare, please.
The regional minister's office is also there. The department have offices just above the minister's office.
Okay.
It's the same block.
Okay.
Social welfare is on the 3rd floor. The regional minister is on the 2nd floor. So go to the regional coordinator. The block is actually adjacent to Ministry of Information and is in front of the Teachers Hall and Copyright. It's the same yard. It's between the National Museum, the National Museum and the Science Museum.
Okay. So you go there for
it's directly opposite Tigo head office.
Oh,
yes.
It's very easy to get. So when you get there, we have shadow officers. Mind you, it isn't every officer working with social welfare who works on adoption. So don't think somebody works with, because somebody works
you can just
with the Department of Social Welfare, so that person will be of help to you. It isn't everybody who works with the department that works on adoption.
Wow.
Yes. And for those who want there's one problem. Often there are some lawyers who want to do everything from their clients. But you realize adoption is not just a legal process.
Okay.
It's a social.
It's a parental role. So if you don't have time to go and pick up your application form, your lawyer has to do everything, then I don't think you are even ready to take care of a child. Often parents will tell you, it's the day that you have a very good business to do, that dawn, then your child start running temperature.
Yes.
That's true.
So if you want to do adoption, lawyers come in at the
Till
very
end.
end of it.
Yes.
Walk into social welfare office yourself.
Okay.
Explain your situation to them, because it's not a straight jacket thing. It may even be a relative child,
Yes.
a friend's child, or another vulnerable child. So we discuss, then we all agree what the law says
Best option. Yeah.
on the best way to go about it. The lawyers are very busy and they also have their own things to do. So when you want to sit and just pay money,
Which we will collect.
lawyers, yes, we are all working.
They'll collect.
They will collect.
Collect it.
But at the end of the day, if he goes to keep the form on his desk for 3-4 months because he is busy with other things, you don't come and say that I picked the form in
No,
January and social welfare has not done anything. And at times they even forget about what you need to do, although the requirements are in the form.
Okay.
So this is a parental role. If you want to adopt, go there yourself and pick an application.
Good.
With intercountry, currently the department have ceded certain parts of the process to adoption agencies, private adoption agencies. A few has been licensed by the Central Adoption Authority.
Wow.
Yes. So with intercountry application forms, you can get some to pick or buy from the Central Adoption Authority.
Okay.
And you can also get some to buy from the accredited adoption agencies in Ghana.
Okay.
And when you contact the regional director, you can even go for enquiries.
Okay.
So upon getting adequate information, you decide whether to work with a private agency or the Department of Social Welfare. But in any case, even if the private agency should start, you will still go through social welfare because placement is done at the Central Adoption Authority.
So if I have to go through there, then I better start from there and finish up there.
If you are busy and it entails a lot of legwork.
Oh, okay.
So after the enquiries, if you choose to use a private agency, they may be able to do some of the legwork for you, but you pay for it.
Okay.
Because they also have to pay their bills and pay their staff.
But when we come through you, then we don't pay.
You pay.
Oh, okay.
Ministry of Finance has already given us a fee schedule. So when you come to social welfare, you pay. Of course, there are some of the processes that they couldn't capture. I believe when they review, they will capture that.
Okay.
So when you come, you pay some fees that are not originally on the fee schedule. So you pay fees.
Okay.
Adoption is not cheap anywhere in the world.
Wow, there was a question like that.
It is not cheap.
It's very expensive.
Wow.
And you know, some people have this idea that, oh, social welfare has children and cannot take care of them. They are coming to help the children. Adoption starts with the child and ends with the child. So if you want to treat your infertility by having a child, excuse me if I sound harsh, don't think you are helping the child. You are helping yourself.
Okay.
Because when you have a child, now those friends who used to gossip behind you, when you attend Adori and they want to show you that you don't, now you also have a child.
Yes.
So in effect, at the end of it all, you are helping yourself. If you don't take that child, the state will find a way of caring for that child.
Okay.
So people have that mindset that if I am adopting, I am helping the child. So the child should be this, the child should be that. And they end up even not taking good care of the children. There are times people adopt and they come back to social welfare after a while that the child is naughty, the child is respectful.
Can you imagine?
Yes. When you adopted a baby, you train the child to be disobedient. Why do you want to bring the child back to social welfare?
Oh, they actually bring them back.
Some people do that.
And do you take them?
So that goes back to training of adoptive parents and why social welfare will do due diligence before placing a child with anybody at all. And for those who go through the back door, often there's no documentation on the child. There are times they come back with a child maybe after 16 years. Yes.
16 years?
Yes. Of concealing a particular child.
Oh.
They pick the child, maybe a child was abandoned, they keep. Then after 16 years, they come and tell you the child is not behaving well. And the child was abandoned and they picked up.
Can you imagine?
So they are bringing to social welfare. And when this happened, I expect our colleagues, the police, to prosecute them when social welfare refers such cases. At times, it's really difficult.
Wow.
Yes.
You've kept the child for 16 years.
Yes.
You have trained the child for 16 years.
Destroy the child.
Destroy the child.
Yes.
And then you take the child back.
Yes.
And say, I picked the child from the street or
They'll
from the
tell
gutter.
you from circle. And when you go back to circle now, you can't find the spot because of the construction. And they tell you, yes, the mother was a drug addict and the children were sleeping with her on by the road, and I decided to pick this one because this was the youngest among them.
I was doing them a favor.
Yes, so you see, doing them a favor. And now after 16 years, the child is not educated. You didn't train the child in any vocation. They return to social welfare.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, it's getting very interesting.
So those children who are not covered by any document, those people who go to take children from maternity homes and others, it is not the best.
We will go on a short commercial break and we'll be back. Please get your questions ready. Maybe we'll be going straight into Ask Mama Rita. It's getting very, very interesting with Dr. Nas.
It is time again where all the gallant men will gather at the feet of Jesus the Christ. Men Makers Conference 2022. It is fine to break our fallow grounds and launch into the deep. Join all the men in the special one-day conference with the Apostle General for retooling and importation. The conference, which will be led by the Apostle General Sam Crunchy Ankra, Mama Rita, and all the seasoned fathers of the faith, is themed Men on Mission. The venue is the Oil Dome Men Makers Conference 2022 at 9 a.m. sharp. Are you ready? Tell a friend to tell a friend. Registration is ongoing across all assemblies. For further inquiries, call 024-5181435 or email us at info@royalhousechapel.org. Men born to succeed. A man power. Po, 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 po.
Oh my God, it's getting very, very interesting. If you just joined us, I'm here in the studio with Dr. Anastasia Kpei Mawudoku. Anytime I mention your name, you laugh.
Yes.
Did I mention it well?
It makes me happy.
It makes you happy. Whoa. She's the Chief Social Development Officer with she's the Regional Director of Social Welfare in Accra. So my darling, please ask all your questions on adoption and everything. Dr. Nas, I want us to go back to the process. So after I pick the form,
Yes.
what is the next step?
The requirements are there on the form.
Okay.
We will need you to provide certain documentations like your birth certificate,
Okay.
your national ID card,
Okay.
your income statement,
Okay.
work and income. We are actually not interested in how much you earn,
Okay.
you have.
Okay.
We want to know your earnings. If you
Okay.
can take care of yourself
Okay.
before we place a child. You know, this is a special kind of family.
Okay. Okay.
We want references
Okay.
from people who know you.
Okay.
And if you are married, we also want to know the type of marriage and how the marriage is working.
Okay.
Same sex.
I like all that.
We will need. There are quite a number of things. They are on the form.
Okay.
Police clearance.
Police, criminal clearance.
Okay.
Then medical clearance as
Okay.
well. So we give you the medical form. The form comes with
Okay.
the medical forms and the police request form for criminal clearance.
Okay. Okay.
We actually want a good role model
Okay.
for
the
a child.
Okay.
So when you return the documents, a caseworker will be assigned to you,
Okay.
either with your husband if you are doing a joint application or a single application. So your caseworker will then verify the documents you submit, like the birth certificate.
Okay.
We check from the birth and death
Death. Okay.
registry. If it's a genuine birth
Okay.
certificate,
Okay.
your Ghana card, and you know now with the internet and technology, people are able to create so many things with signatures. So we verify.
Okay.
There are times we even call your referees,
Okay.
because some people will write their own letters, use the left hand to sign one, and then
Desperation.
so we check. And there are people who feel they don't want anybody to know about it. So when you ask them to bring a reference, they
They don't
tend to
want to.
do their own thing. So we check for all that. So your caseworker will visit your home.
Okay.
What we call a home study is
Okay.
actually an assessment.
Okay.
So the caseworker will interact with you. Actually, your caseworker becomes your confidant.
Okay.
They also provide counseling and also provide you with information.
Okay.
So after the interview or the interaction, the caseworker will now write a report and make a recommendation,
Okay.
either for immediate placement or
Probation.
some training.
Okay.
Then if what you want, you know, often we give you the opportunity to also tell us the type of child you want.
Okay.
Some people will even go to the extent of telling you they want a fair-colored child.
Okay.
They want a child with a round head,
Hey.
with a particular skin texture.
Wow.
And a child who has been screened, and they don't want a child with sickle cell.
Oh, okay.
But then, sickle cell is a blood disease.
It's a blood disease.
And it's with us, the blacks.
Okay.
So at times, some of us here are even sickle cell, but we've lived for so many years and we are working.
That's right.
Yes, I know professors and some professionals, distinguished professionals who have sickle cell. It's about knowing about the condition.
And
Managing
then being
it.
able to handle it.
Yes, being able to handle it. Some will even tell you, they want you to give a perfect child, but there's no human
There's
being
no
who is
perfect child.
And
You would have to make the child perfect.
some will even go to the extent of telling you they don't even want a child with correctable minor medical conditions. You know, because of where we get the children from, at times you pick a child who has skin rashes. You only
Okay.
need to bath this child and then go to hospital, they'll give you ointment.
Okay.
And within 2-3 weeks, the child
child
has
is-
changed. It's healed. They don't want that. Some will tell you, I don't want a child with extra digits. You know, some children are born with
Six.
extra.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They
Okay.
tell you it's a taboo. But these days, even the nurses, if the child is born in a health facility,
They
they
can
just
just-
tie it up and within 3 days,
It's off.
yes. For some, they do surgery and it is no more there. But then some people will tell you they don't want.
Wow. But at least do I have a preference to say
I want a
ma-
boy
yes,
or a girl. Some will even say they want a sibling set.
Oh, okay.
When the children are from the same parentage, we don't separate them. Yes. So they come as a pack
Okay.
for you.
Oh.
So if you can take a sibling set,
Okay.
yes, after our investigation, if they are available,
They'll
we,
give
yes, we'll give to
But
you.
I'm sure this one doesn't come easily available.
We sometimes have them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Children who were rescued from abusive
Oh,
parents.
okay. Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay.
And at times orphan.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But
So
at least I can be given the preference
if we have them,
if you have it.
yes, at that time we place with
Oh,
you.
okay.
as
I
well.
want a girl. I want a boy.
Yes.
I want fair colored.
If we have that,
If you
why
have it,
not?
okay.
But then when you make all these demands,
I'm narrowing your...
because it's a special kind of family, we
You
don't want
delay.
to give you something you don't want.
Okay.
So you wait, you be on the waiting, and some will also come that I want a fresh baby. Some even go to the extent of faking pregnancy. Yes, it is done. You know, in our part of the world, because of our
understand.
culture,
Okay. Okay. They'll fake it
people
so that
talk,
they get.
even with our
Yeah,
education.
yeah,
So
yeah.
some people will even fake pregnancy.
Okay.
So with that, they want a fresh baby. But you realize that a fresh baby has not been cleared for adoption placement.
Oh.
Aha. Although such children come into care,
It has to be cleared.
yes, they may be placed because they need one-on-one care for care, but then they cannot be placed for adoption at that time. And when you take them, you may be taking a risk because police may still be investigating.
Oh.
And if we should find the biological parents, we'll have to go to court,
Okay.
and the court will take a decision.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And there are times too that, especially in Accra here, some young men will impregnate some young women, and they don't want the pregnancy. They try to persuade them to abort, and it doesn't work.
Okay.
So some will wait patiently for the person to deliver, then they pick the child and dump somewhere. So for the mother, the child is missing.
Oh.
Meanwhile, it is a man who abandoned. But the assumption for most of us is that it is a woman who has abandoned the child. Probably she doesn't want the child.
It's not always the case.
Yes, it's not always the case. So in such cases, the outcome is not the same. Uh-huh.
So, dog, if I'm 50 and I still want a child, I have what it takes to take care of the child. Is there a possibility of giving me a child?
Yes, I did mention that for in-country applications,
Okay.
it's up to 55.
Okay,
So,
so
we
let me-
should finish the process
Okay.
before your 55th birthday.
Okay, so if I'm 55, I've tried everything. At 55, I realized that there's no hope. So now I'm coming back to social welfare. Is there possibility?
At that point, adoption may not be possible.
Okay.
But you can be a foster parent.
Okay.
So you always have children in your home.
Oh, okay.
We may place children who need long-term care with you.
Okay.
We discuss with them and we train them and license foster parents.
Okay.
So if you have the license, depending on what you want, we may bring children for interim care.
Okay.
Children in transition.
Okay.
So they may stay with you for a month, 2 months.
That's not
year.
what I want. I want something I can
And we
call
have
my
children who need long-term care. So they will come, and when we place them with you, it is until they turn 18.
Okay.
And or they stay for about 3 years.
Okay.
Whichever comes first.
Okay.
Whichever comes first.
That's almost like having legal custody
Yes.
over the child.
So the child can, but then with a foster parent, every 2 years, you need to renew your license.
Wow.
Yes, to continue. And the department will also have to vary the initial order that placed the child with you, the care order.
I handled a lady who was going through adoption. But I think that by the time she qualified, like you say, she was 55, but she was given an older child. Is that adoption? She was given like a 14, 15-year-old.
14, 15-year-old. It depends on when she received the child. You know, these are technical issues.
Okay.
If the child has known you, you have been the only adult or parental, a parent throughout, maybe some, you know, at times you place a child, you are not sure of the status of the child. So the child has not been cleared for adoption.
Okay.
Then after some time, we realize we can't reunify the child with the family.
Okay.
But the child has been with you maybe from 48. So those are exceptional cases. And the department will make a case at the court. And if the court accepts that, the order is given. But that is not the norm. So you shouldn't think because somebody had that, you
By
should
all
also
means,
be.
yes.
The adoption. And then you realize that adoption placement, we have matching. Currently, the system we run, when the children come into care, they are in a common pool, their data and information. So we have a central adoption committee that does the placement. So you realize that the regional offices will do all the necessary preparations, train the prospective adoptive parents, and then send the details to that common pool. So after we've done the care order, do the initial birth registration with birth and death. Then we submit what we call a child study report to the committee. And they do matching. Matching is a scientific process where we place children with prospective adoptive parents.
Okay.
So we look at the needs of the child and the applicant who can best meet the needs of the child.
When you talk about the needs of the child,
Yes.
what does it mean?
What's the age of the child?
Okay.
What needs to be done to nurture the child
Okay.
into successful adulthood?
Okay.
You know, it's a complex process. And what are the interests of this child? So for a child who is sporty, likes sports, at times you must look for a family that also have that interest.
Oh, okay. So that's the matching. Okay. Okay.
And in a black family, and in Ghana,
Okay.
when you work with a particular, let's say a very white child, then Reverend and Mrs. Franchiagra,
What?
you are not fair.
How
And in
come
your family,
nobody
you
is
have
fair?
this Obroni child with you. We are very nosy.
Very
We
nosy.
ask questions.
Oh,
So we also check for those ones.
Oh, okay.
Somebody will say, by adoption is adoption. Over here, we have closed adoptions. We don't have open adoption.
Yes.
Elsewhere, it's very easy to tell a child, yes, I'm your adoptive parent. The other person is your biological parent.
Yes.
And even when your biological parent wish to see you, the child is able to visit and come back. So the child is aware.
Okay.
Over here, you can disclose the adoption status to the child at a certain stage.
Okay.
But you don't disclose because you want to tell the child that I am doing you a favor and you are not behaving well. You disclose as a security measure.
Okay.
Looking into the future, in case I'm no more and you have issues with my family or somebody try to push you out of my home, maybe you can see lawyer Akita, you can see Mama Rita, or someone else who will help you. Or if something happens to me, please run to Mama Rita. You know, I'm telling you this because of your status as an adoptive child, and I don't want you to suffer in my absence. So, and you just don't wake up one morning and call the child, look, you were adopted. You have to go slowly, and it should be at a point that the child will understand. And even that, you should check if it will be in the best interest of the child. For some, it is better to keep the information.
So you can decide as a parent not to tell the child at all.
Yes, but then you should make arrangements to protect the child in case something happens to you. But the law permits that you inform the child at a certain age,
at
where
what
the
age?
child from 14 going, where the child can understand the situation, that you did it out of love. If you have not done it, probably that child wouldn't have been where he or she is.
Okay, in our culture or our environment, people are very, very nosy. Somebody can decide to tell the child.
If you do that, it's an offense. You can go to prison.
Wow.
Yes. It is only the parent of the child who can disclose that.
Wow.
So if you go and tell the child, the law is very specific on that.
6 months.
You will be prosecuted. You can, they will report, the police will take up, or they can even go to court. They will call their lawyers, and you will be in trouble. But you know what
people are listening. Ghanaians, we are too. I don't know what is wrong with us. Asem fire home. If you don't understand our Greek, in this part of the world, we are so nosy. Where matters and issues that do not concern us, we want to poke our nose. We want to call the child. Hey, come. Do you know?
But you know, we also talk too much.
Yes.
You have somebody going to social welfare to pick an adoption application, and they go with a friend. You know, they discuss with that friend. And there are times they come in and you even try to caution them. So you say, are you going to do the application with this person?
That's right.
I think that, oh, she's my friend. You know, he's been helping and he's my best friend.
And the best friend tells
your
the best
siblings.
friend.
Yeah.
At times. When it comes to property,
Yeah.
there are issues. We talk too much. You know, some people go to the extent of telling their friend almost everything. So when they have a problem, then they get back at them. And that is where they spill out the whole thing. And at times, let's say the three of us don't have children. And we want to adopt. It is enough that we have discussed it. Go individually for your application. But at times, all the three of us will go. We pick the application. Probably I'm very busy, so I won't go there. Then I think when you go, you put in a word for me. So I'm not able to go. You are always at social welfare doing the following up and that. And you know, our earnings are also not the same.
That's right.
Our situations are very different.
That's right.
You may qualify, she may not qualify. So when you get it, then she gets envious of you. Then she starts talking. And if we are in a church, the women's group then, and you see, they start talking about you.
Spread.
And they spread the information. So we should also learn to keep information.
Okay.
Discreet.
Some of us talk too much.
Okay. Dog, as an individual, I want to ask that question again. I have a very good relationship with my son or my daughter, adopted, but mine now. And I think that the child is 14. I still think that the child doesn't know. I'm the only mother he's known or she's known. I'm the only father. Can I decide never to tell the child?
It depends. You know, some children are also curious.
Okay.
At a certain age, they realize they are different. They start asking questions. So it's about training them.
Okay.
It's about the relationship between you and the child. You realize you even foster certain children. They know their parents, but they still stay with you.
Yes.
Yes. So it's about your relationship with the child and the way you go about it. I know some homes where they've raised adopted children. The children are aware of their status.
Okay.
And they still stay with them and they do not have a problem. They do not have a problem. So it isn't every child that you can decide not to tell. And for some of them, they get very difficult at a certain stage. But when you lovingly disclose this, it creates a special bond between you and the child.
Yes.
Because they know they have nowhere to go to. And you are being good to them. It's scary out there if you don't have a family.
Yes.
So it's about how you disclose the information and the type of child you are dealing with. Our temperaments are not the same.
Yes.
Dr. Nas, I want you to tell the Ghanaian public that when we talk about adoption, adoption is my child. It's not everybody, unfortunately, that has been created to bear a child, get pregnant, go and push. So once I go through the legal means to get a child, it's my child. So as long as it's my child, the child has every right to me and everything I have. So we need to advise the Ghanaian public that an adopted child is a legal child of whether I went to the maternity. You know, we are very funny when it comes to adoption. I don't know whether it's our culture, it's education, I don't know what it is.
It's just human nature.
Okay.
Even with biological children, when you die leaving them, even with the older ones, you find some people sowing seed of discord between them, and you find them fighting each other in court for properties.
Yes.
So it's not only with adopted children. Even with biological children, it happens.
It happens.
And there are times that even poor families, people die in those families and nobody has a problem. It is only when we have property
That there's a
to
problem.
share that we have. So it's greed.
Okay.
is greed.
Okay. Okay.
So
But that's why you have to make provision.
you need to make
provision.
provisions for the child.
Yes.
And that's why social welfare always asks for a guardian, a nominated guardian during the application process. Some people do not take that serious. They just put somebody. So now we require that you nominate a guardian, and the guardian must sign the application
Okay.
that they are willing and capable of taking the child, taking care of the child, even if you don't leave anything behind.
Okay.
You see?
Wow. Hey, I hear there are lots of questions, the messages coming in. You are not allowing me to ask all my questions. I will come back to you, Dr. Anas. Co-host,
Yes.
the birthday boy.
Hey.
Yes.
Power
I hear
to-
there are lots of questions.
Yes, we have questions coming through.
Wow. And
Well,
messages.
Yes. Keep them coming. +23320051523. This is Family Life Series with Mama Rita. And we are live on Facebook, Sam Krachiankra, live on Facebook, Mama Rita K. We are live on YouTube, Powerline TV, and of course on your favorite digital channel. Please share across all platforms. Let's get a conversation going. This is very, very vital. And you can send your messages across all social media platforms using the hashtag AskMamarita, AskMamarita. So a complimentary message coming from Nigeria, Delta State. Says, good evening, Mama Rita.
Good evening.
I and my family in Nigeria are just glued watching you always.
Wow.
Thank you for the great work. Well done, Ma. Sylvester Odiachi.
Wow. God bless you, Sylvester.
We'll take our first question. Says, hello, Mama Rita. I take good care of my sister's children in Ghana, and I had wanted to adopt them for them to join me in the United States. Because I am abroad, social welfare has asked me to contact an agency in the United States, which is going to cost me an approximate 27,000 USD per child. Can't I just do the paperwork back in Ghana? Thank you.
Dog.
Yes, that's inter-country adoption. And Ghana has acceded to the Hague Convention. So to take a child across international boundaries, you need to comply with Hague. So you need an agency in US to do the assessment for Ghana. And after that, Ghana will need to send a child study through that agency to the Homeland Security in US for us to sign the Hague Agreement. The two countries will need to agree that when Ghana completes the process, the child will be given a visa to join the aunt in the US. And it will be very difficult for Ghana to decide on fees in US. And if you don't have a job that can pay their fees, I believe you can agree with me that you cannot take care of a child in that system either, because you need to have social security insurance policies for education, healthcare, and others to take care of children over there. And when you work and you leave minors at home, you should have adequate care for them in your absence, depending on their ages. So if you cannot pay those bills, then you are not even qualified. You know,
$27,000, Mama, per child.
For two,
you know,
that's
the agencies
54.
are paying fees in that system as well.
Okay.
And you realize that we do not actually, we don't have control over their fees over there, just as they don't have control over our fees here.
So, Mama.
And they will be doing supervision. They will be doing home study over there. And we've had instances where people adopt children from Ghana and elsewhere in Africa, send abroad, then they take the children away from them because they are unable to take good care of their children and put in their welfare system. That's in a way swelling their cost center. So they also put in measures to augment the problems they have over there. You see, I always give this scenario. When we go to our villages, we all come from villages. Even the Gans here have their villages.
Yeah.
Everybody says they are from Accra. But where do we live in Accra? What do we do in Accra? At times, it is better for some of the children we bring to Accra to grow up in the village. At least they can attend the government basic schools over there. They can go through the public schools at the village. We bring them to Accra. We live in a kiosk at Odona. And the kind of work we do, we cannot even pay for public schools in Accra. And the situation somehow is like that abroad.
Okay.
Some of our own folks living abroad, they don't even have a permanent place of abode. They cannot take care of themselves. But
Let
they
alone
want to tell all of us that they want to help us, and that's why they want to take their children.
So Doc, in such an instance, is it an alternative for her to come down to Ghana, go through the process, adopt the children, and now find a way of going back to the United States with them?
Yeni baby. You see, people try to do that, but at the end of it, it becomes more expensive.
Okay.
You come down, you have to stay for about 2 years to qualify for the assessment here.
Oh, you have
don't
to
live
stay
here.
Oh, okay.
If you don't live here, I can't process your application
Okay.
as an in-country application.
You don't habitually.
And you know you are already in their system. And once they press that knot, everything about you comes out.
Okay.
And you cannot leave your work there and come and stay for 2 years. And you need to provide some information. So that will give you up anyway. So at the end of it all, you try to sidestep procedures by coming down to process the application and then go back with the child. It becomes more expensive. And at times, they don't even give them visas to take the children abroad. So after the process, and you know, when that happens and the embassy gets to know, or the high commission, what happens is that they just block you. And often they'll even call the anti-human trafficking unit. That you have done an irregular adoption from Ghana. And the officer who processed it will also be in trouble.
But if the person is ready to come down, live here for 2 years. Okay. Okay.
You know, when you come down, so will you go back to work there? Are you going to leave your work and your businesses there for 2 years for one child? If you know you have a good job there, you should be able to pay that money.
Okay.
The same way, you know, as we sit here, to process one adoption, the lawyer's fee and other things. By the time somebody will tell you, I can't pay about 5,000 for one adoption or 10,000. The lawyer's fee alone is about that, isn't it? The lawyers will tell us. They do pro bono. In some cases, we all agree and they do. But then if you are paying fees, it's expensive.
Yeah, it's quoted in dollars.
Yes, it's quoted in dollars.
Wow.
Yes. The Ghana Bar Association, they have their fee schedule. It's quoted, and you take CD equivalent. And somebody will tell you it's expensive. So if you feel it is expensive in Ghana, then you don't have enough to take care of yourself.
My
Let
darling,
alone bring in
listen
somebody
to me.
else.
If you didn't struggle, you entered into marriage, first year, second year, you got pregnant, had your child, second, third, my darling, you owe God. Go back to God. Pay. Look at what we are hearing now. 27,000. It's like me buying oxygen. Go back and you owe God. We take a lot of things for granted. All my 4 children, I need to pay God $27,000. Wow.
Wow. And that's actually one leg of the cost.
One leg of the cost.
Exactly. I'm sure coming to Ghana would also have its own
Buying them
implications.
tickets will be something else.
It's interesting.
But,
You owe God.
but the thing is,
Yes.
where the jurisdiction in which you stay would allow you to be a legal custodian of the children, you might as well apply for custody instead of.
Okay.
Don't veer off yet.
I should
Don't
leave
veer
you.
off. People are funny.
Mama
We are
says
on
I should
TV.
hold on. To
Hold
You
on to-
know, we are talking about adoption.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll find time and discuss
The
other
custody.
things.
Other things like custody and all that.
Legal custody, legal guardianship, and those are different
Okay.
things. But with adoption, this is adoption.
Okay.
You
Okay.
see?
So last week we spoke about the two types: adoption and then
Legal
custody, legal custody. So if they are your sister's children, your auntie's children, your brother's children, and you are the one taking care of them, like we said last week, you can go through the custody.
Mama
and-
Rita, you know, legal custody is not the same as adoption.
Okay.
There are times that legal custody will permit you to take the child across international boundaries.
Okay.
But then the welfare benefit that you could get from adopted children, you
won't
wouldn't
get.
Yes.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, there are people who are working in universities and they take care of their children. And you know, some of us, before we get to that point, our children are already old.
Okay.
So to give back to society, and you know, before you travel, over here we help each other. Whatever is available goes round for all
Yeah.
family members. So you want to help an aunt who helped you pay
That's
your
right.
fees,
Yes.
an aunt who took care of you or fostered you. So you want to help by taking a grandchild to benefit.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you want to do that, custody alone may not permit you to access those
Fully.
benefits.
TV soon profit here.
You see, so we have different reasons
Okay.
for adopting our kin.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. Sorry. Doc, this question says, you mentioned 3 years of foster parenting. The child comes back or turns 18, whichever comes earlier. Question is, what happens after? What if the child wants to stay on?
Oh, with long-term fostering, after 18, the child is of legal age. So the child can decide to go back to the biological family or continue to stay with you. The child may still be in school and may need your help at that age. So it's not a straitjacket thing.
Okay. So which means at that point, it largely
We'll stop
relies
going
on the
back to
child.
court for
Renewal.
renewal.
Yes.
Okay.
Or the child can take a decision at age 18.
Yes.
To move out.
Okay.
You know, I told you that if the child is young and is in long-term foster care, has been placed for long-term foster care, every 2 to 3 years, we go back to vary the original order. And social welfare must convince the court that the child needs to continue staying with a particular caregiver. But at 18, the child is of legal age. You know, we have the majority age, which is 21
This one is.
as well. By which time, most children would have finished and start working.
Okay.
These days, by 17, they are already at the university. Some are almost completing and all that.
Okay. So we have a few questions here, but just before that, another one that came. Does the foster parent receive any form of benefit?
In Ghana, Ghana government
don't
isn't
have
paying
money.
foster parents. So the assessment is done in such a way that you should be able to take care of yourself. You should have space in your home to take, and foster children are not house helps. So if you
Please
cannot take care of your
stress that
household
for us.
chores, don't come to social welfare that you want to foster so that you can be sending the child. We want you, yes, we want you to train the child, but that the child does not become a domestic servant in your home.
Good.
But does that suggest that the law permits foster parents to be paid? Is that the
The
letter of the
government
law?
does not have money, so we are not paying foster parents. You know, at times we are funny. Immediately we start paying, people turn it into business.
Yes.
In other jurisdictions, they are paid. But
Okay.
even there, social workers monitor.
Okay.
It's well regulated.
And
yeah.
if something happens, the state will deal with
Yeah.
Seriously.
you. You can even go to prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we go
Yes,
to our next
Mommy.
question, I really don't understand why will a 25-year-old go for adoption?
You know, now there are people, some ladies, who are born without wombs.
Okay. Okay.
So she knows she cannot have
She
a
cannot
child.
have a child. Okay.
And then there are some medical conditions.
Okay.
They remove the uterus.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
before they get married, they know the woman
Okay.
will not be able.
Okay.
So they plan for
Okay.
it. So after their wedding, they can apply
Okay.
because they know they will not be able to have a child the natural way.
Okay. Okay.
Then at times the child is orphan and
Okay.
it's a relative.
Okay.
At 25, you are working.
You can.
And you
okay.
can take care of
Okay.
the child.
Okay.
So you can adopt that child
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
And there's a rule, you must at least be 21 years older
Older
than the child,
the child
you want
you
to
adopt.
adopt.
Okay.
So that the child can see you as a
It's a
parent.
mother. Okay. Okay. So, if I don't have a womb, I know I don't have a womb. I'm 23. I know the process. I don't know how long it takes, but the process can take maybe 2 years or 3 years. Can I start early enough? Maybe start at age 23, hoping that by age 25, I could have a child, or by age 25 when I'm married, or I even got married at 22 or 23. Can I start the process?
Actually, the law says you shouldn't be less than 25.
Okay.
Those who drafted the law, in their own wisdom, pegged it at 25.
Okay.
So you have to wait until you are
25 before you start the process.
Yes.
Start the process.
So the process will take about 2 years. I don't know how long it takes.
You know, it depends on a lot of things.
Okay.
You may apply within 3-4 months. You get to the technical committee and a child is available
Oh, okay.
for placement.
Okay. Okay.
You see. And once the placement is done and we have the clearance, within a month, we have 1 month bonding period. That's a probationary period.
Okay.
We can go to court
Okay.
as well. But you see that at that age, the person may want a very young child.
Okay.
So may have to start from somewhere before converting at a point.
Okay. This question says, good evening, Mommy.
Good evening.
A friend of mine is in big trouble, which is beyond my control. Her family, both nuclear and extended, have neglected her. Feeding, accommodation has become an issue for her. I've been helping her, but now it's getting challenging, and she is equally getting very depressed by her situation. What can I do for such a person? Where can she go?
How old is she?
But they failed to mention the
The
age.
age.
Yeah.
The person can go to social welfare. They will actually interview the person, so they will do their enquiries. If the person already has learned a trade, they may support the person to start working. If she hasn't learned, is it he or she? I don't know.
A she?
She? Okay. So if she hasn't learned any trade, they may help her. But you know, there are some people who don't want to learn any trade. And they just want money. And whatever you give to them, they squander in the next 3-4 months. So they will actually have to work with this person, understand why the person isn't working, and link the person to resources. Social workers actually link them to resources. So Mama Rita sitting here, we've met today, Mrs. Akita here. So when things happen and we feel they can be of help, we link them to such people to support them.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. This message is coming from Auntie Sisi, a very regular viewer. Says, good evening, Mommy.
Good evening.
God richly bless you. Congratulations on a marvelous Movers and Shakers conference.
Wow.
She says, I strongly believe that in 5 to 10 years, Ghana is going to have mighty royals as presidents, ministers, parliamentarians.
Praise God.
I thank God for your life, Mommy. Auntie Sisi, thank you for those nice words and
Auntie Sisi,
prophetic
thank
declarations.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. The next one says, hi, Mama Rita.
Hey, I'm sure we have a lot of questions.
Yeah. They are just buzzing in. We probably can take 2 or so more.
And then, wow.
Says, good evening, Mommy.
Good evening.
My name is Ekwa. Mentions her location. I have 2 girls with a man. We married for 7 years and are divorced now due to irresponsibility on his part. And this was what the court ruling was. He was supposed to give 400 cedis every month for the upkeep of the kids. I am remarried. Should the children grow and get married, should he be granted access as the father of the children? I guess you are talking about who walks the children down the aisle.
Yeah.
It's
Because he's
interesting.
very responsible. The 400 is not given.
Then the second question, she says, should I leave him just because I'm remarried and my current husband takes good care of us by God's grace? All right, over to you, panel.
She can actually hold this man responsible.
Okay.
Enforcement.
She enforced the
Court's order.
court order. I don't know if it's a court order or they went to
She
social
said the court's
welfare.
order.
Is
She
it a
mentioned
court-
it was a court ruling.
court-
She can enforce the court order. And the man will pay and even pay interest. Yes,
That's true.
that's true.
Mrs. Akita, do you want to add to it?
Yeah, she should see a lawyer.
She should see a lawyer.
Yeah, we can explore the family courts and try to enforce the court's order. Whichever court it is, we can go back and enforce the order under the rules and then make sure that he pays for whatever it is.
So
I don't know whether
Okay.
these things must be taught in school. So
You know,
because
some
a lot
people
of
don't want the stress.
okay.
You know, the legal system at times is quite slow, although it bites. You go, you know, when a man wants to punish you, monies that could be paid into court during the process so that they pay to the woman.
That's right.
They will pay into the court account and you have to apply to the court for the money to be released. And when you apply for the money to be released, a certain percentage is deducted from it.
Yes.
So if it depends on where you
Okay.
stand.
Yeah.
By the time you do the application, back and forth, serve and all that, you take the money and it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Maybe 400 for 4 children, and then it depends on who you are dealing with. And when you go back to court, they need to serve, you get a bailiff, you pay a lawyer. So at a point you feel, I don't want the stress. The justice is not served when that happens. So at times you let them know we have laws in the country. So you drag them to court.
Good.
And it deters others.
That's right.
That's true.
Because a lot of mothers have left the men and they are free.
The stress,
The
with the
stress.
legal system.
And you know, with the way the family court operates, you don't even need a lawyer to do the application. If you
Okay.
go there, they can help you fill the form and then file it before the court.
Okay.
And you can appear there without a lawyer.
Okay.
It's, she said, I mean, the points where you have to serve and all that, but at least take the first step and go there. And there are lawyers who do pro bono.
Okay.
So you might as well reach out.
Okay.
You may never know.
You
You
may
take your
never
case. Yes.
You may
The,
never-
the situation of some of these women, actually, let's say I sell at the market.
Yeah.
And I live in a remote area. At times, you take a car to one district to connect to
Yeah.
your
Some other
district
districts.
capital. And it's on the court is on market days. If you don't go to market, what do you feed?
How do you feed your children?
So, and you need to go 2-3 sittings at time. You go and the panel is not there, so they need to adjourn the case. So you look at the whole thing and it's let me go and sell. At least we can get some mori to prepare banku.
That's right.
So it's not because they don't want it, but the process
The
itself and
process.
their circumstances just puts them away. They just don't want to stress out.
All right, this one says, good evening, mommy.
Good evening.
Please, my wife is not taking good care of our children by my standards. And yet,
Okay.
she doesn't want me to take care of them.
My
What-
wife.
my wife.
It means that they are married.
I guess they are not staying together. Probably they're separated or divorced by the tone of this language. Says, but yet she doesn't want to permit me taking care of them. What can I do in the interest of these children?
You should apply to court for custody and let the
No,
courts.
this person is saying his wife.
But the,
So
the
if it
tone,
is a wife, are they separated?
Yeah,
it
that's
sounds as if they are not living together.
Yeah, that's the
If
language.
they are not
so-
living together, why, if they are still married, why don't they live together so that the two of them could take care of the children? You know, at times they send this kind of messages to trigger something.
Okay.
Probably this person is already in another relationship. And is using this whole excuse
For
as a ploy
justification.
to take the children. And immediately they take the children away from the woman. They are not even going to take good care of the children.
Okay.
Then quickly they can go ahead and divorce these women.
The panel will be there to meet them and will assess everything in
Yes,
totality.
it's true, but then
Yes.
it becomes very difficult when they take the children before you start fighting for custody.
So
At
then,
times they coach the children in a way that the children don't want to even see you. It's really a difficult situation for those of us who work in that space. So you know, this information I don't think is adequate for us to respond to.
Okay. Okay. Well, I would want to ask a wrapping up question. So, given your experience with the department, would you recommend that childless couples come up for adoption?
Oh, sure. They should come, but then they should be prepared to be parents. We've had instances where people tell you, you know, parenthood is not something that you just show off, that I have children. It is a mystery and you have to work. So somebody would, you ask the person, how are you going? You work, you are a businesswoman or you are a business executive. You are a professional somewhere. How are you going to take care? And they have no plans of caring for the child. They are just thinking of paying nannies to take care of their children. So it's not about paying people to take care. If you want a child, you must be prepared to be in the life of the children.
Wow.
So childless couples, yes, but when you become a parent, you have to make some adjustments in your life. If you go to disco and you have a baby, you may have to
Undiscolize yourself.
or go slow on that. If you are the type who like traveling, you must adjust in such a way that you travel with the child,
Or be
if
present
possible,
for the child.
or you reduce the time that you stay away from home.
Okay.
we have about a question or two. We will go on a short commercial break and we'll be back.
It's here again. Royal House Chapel, United Kingdom and Europe Missions present Europe Convention of Saints 2022. Theme, Still Pressing God. Philippians 3:14, featuring Apostle General Sam Karanchi Ankara, the father and founder of Royal House Chapel worldwide.
From today, I give you a redefinition of purpose. You will not be struggling for blessing anymore. Blessings will come to you because you are already blessed. That's who you are.
The Premier Lady, Reverend Rita Karanchi Ankara, President General of Royal Ladies International.
My darling, our God is real. Our God speaks. You are talking too much. So when God speaks, you don't even hear.
Apostle Emmanuel Agomida, Senior Pastor of Royal House Maryland and Apostle of Royal House Chapel North American Missions.
Every star is a warrior. No wonder stars are weapons of war that God uses to fight his battle. So I prophesy into your life that may you win every single battle you fight.
And others. Dates: Thursday 25th, Friday 26th of August, Nights of Power, and on Sunday 28th, Grand Finale, featuring a special induction ceremony, communion, anointing and impartation service. Time: 6 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. Venue: Royal House, South London, Kingsdale, 23 Allian Park, Dulwich, London, SE21 8AU, London, UK, Europe. Something is about to happen. Get ready for prayer, praise, presence, power, and the prophetic. It's Europe Convention of Saints 2022. Don't miss this.
It is time again where all the gallant men will gather at the feet of Jesus the Christ. Men Makers Conference 2022. It is fine to break our fallow grounds and launch into the deep. Join all the men in the special one-day conference with the Apostle General for retooling and importation. The conference, which will be led by the Apostle General Sam Karanchi Ankara, Mama Rita, and all the seasoned fathers of the faith, is themed Men on Mission. The venue is the Oil Dome Men Makers Conference 2022 at 9 a.m. sharp. Are you ready? Tell a friend to tell a friend. Registration is ongoing across all assemblies. For further inquiries, call 024-5181-435 or email us at info@royalhousechapel.org. Men born to succeed. A man power. Po, 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 po.
Welcome back. It looks like we still have some questions, but we can't keep our people here forever. But I have a question. Dr. Anas, in the case where somebody brings the child to me, Mama Rita, I want you to have the, and I get people all the time. It's gotten to the place where now I want it to be legal. Can I come to you? For instance, today somebody called me somewhere from the Volta region. Somebody has a baby. Number one, they don't even have money to discharge the baby from the hospital. Number two, the mother is mental. The mother can't take care of the child. And they want to give the child to me. Can I take the child and now go through social welfare? Immediately, can I take the child and then now do the correct thing? Or somebody has brought the child to me. I've kept the child for about 5 years. Now I want to do it legal. Can I?
You know, it is very, very dangerous in our part of the world.
Okay.
For somebody to bring you a child. Often they want to exploit you.
Okay.
Currently, they don't have the means. They need help.
Okay.
You could support them. But if they genuinely don't want the child and want to give the child out for adoption, you have to direct them to social welfare.
Okay.
So that they can relinquish the child to the state.
Okay.
We don't do direct transfers in Ghana.
Okay.
Even within the family, social welfare will still have to come in for the parents to give informed consent, which is also a type of relinquishment.
Okay.
So the child comes into the state welfare before placement is done.
Okay. So
Often when they do that, the problem we've been having, they give the child to you, you put the child into school, you raise the child maybe up to JHS or SHS. Then when you can also send the child is becoming somebody.
Yeah.
They come back, they want their child.
Okay.
You've been to court, we've signed all the forms. But because they know you, they want their child.
Okay.
And that is where they will go to the radio stations and the media houses to say that, you know, because we are poor, Mama Rita wants to seize our child. You know, we only gave her the child to foster, and now often they wouldn't even come to do due diligence.
That's
where
right.
they find out your side of the story. They start saying somewhere, and because of your name, you want to keep your integrity.
Okay.
They embarrass you, and at the end of the day, when they realize that it was even an adoption, nobody will go back to exonerate you.
That's true. That's true.
So for such things, please, 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 refer them to social welfare.
Okay.
Go with them to social welfare.
Okay.
Let them follow due process and give the child to the state. Then if social welfare want to place such a child with you, you didn't take the child from them.
Okay.
They gave the child to the state,
Okay.
and social welfare placed
Okay.
the child with you.
Okay.
So they cannot come back to you that they want that child.
Okay. 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 So in this instance, where the mother of the baby needs help, has mental issues.
Every district has a social welfare
Okay.
office.
Okay.
So they should go to the social welfare director in that district.
Okay.
The office will be within the assembly or somewhere close to the district assembly.
Okay.
And they will assist them. You know, with the hospitals, we have the health insurance. Of course, health insurance does not cover all the bills.
That's right.
They may have to pay some top up. But then we also have the indigent clause in the NHIS Act.
Okay.
So if we have a medical social worker attached to the district hospital, these issues will be dealt with.
Indigenous clause. Please explain.
Indigent.
Indigent clause.
For
Yes.
those who are poor.
So there is some provision
Okay.
made for poor people
Good.
who may not be registered under the NHIS
Okay.
at the time.
Oh. I think a lot of people don't know
So go to social welfare,
Okay.
and social welfare will help you resolve all this issue. Social welfare may even place this child with a foster parent
Okay.
for a while, so that when the child grows, the child can go back to the family. They will reunite the child with the family. But if the child, the family wants to give this child out for adoption, the district social welfare officer will then go take them to the regional office to help them go through the process and then dispose of the relinquishment affidavit and go to confirm the relinquishment in court before the placement is done. So we have processes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I wish we are not closing. Dr. Nas will have to come back. Like I told my lady, she has to come back. I pulled her here. and she's here today. Dr. Anas will have to come back. There are still questions, but unfortunately, like we always say, we can't answer all the questions this evening. We will draw down the curtain. They will bring us their closing remarks. But before the closing remarks, or right after the closing remarks, my co-host is celebrating his birthday. Oh my God. And you know this is family life. Family life, we allow the children, we allow the wives, we allow. And today, Mrs. Dorinda Chifape wants to teach our people something that you can surprise your husband, you can surprise your wife, and we'll always happy birthday. So like I said, you can surprise your husband or you can surprise your wife. If you tell us, we will do it for you. Do we have a table available? Hey, please bring the table. Wow. Mrs. Dorinda also. So please come. Please don't go off yet. Don't go off yet. Today, my co-host has very important. When he was a child, he never caught a birthday cake.
Now, what if it's your mom, mommy?
So, all his years of not cutting cake, today, Mrs. Chifape, please come. I want Mrs. Akita and Dr. Anas to help us whilst we cut this cake. Nice! All the years of not cutting cake.
The devil is a liar.
The devil is a liar. Oh, wow. This is a very special birthday.
Wow. Big surprise, big surprise, big surprise. It's imagine now, you're trying to say. How?
He's never done some before. Please hold it. Mama, we are cutting this 35th birthday cake in the name of God the Father, in the name of God the Son, and in the name of God the Holy Ghost. Amen. Tomorrow, it will be your turn. Sure. Surprising your husband or surprising the wife. Please, let the quarrel cease. Once you provide birthday cake, all the quarrels in your family will cease.
And the chop money will increase.
And then the chop money will increase. I want to bless my co-host in the name of God the Father, in the name of God the Son, and in the name of God the Holy Ghost. Amen. Amen. Dr. Anas and Mrs. Akita, you give us your closing remarks, and then we will call it. So first, Mrs. Akita, you were here last week and you are here again.
Try to assuage people's fears of the procedure. But then my final remarks, I'll say that when you have maintenance issues, spousal neglect issues, we have Shrad. They do mediation, they invite the party. If that's the route which you want to take, you can go to Shrad. You can try the family court. If you cannot afford a lawyer, we have the legal aid where lawyers are.
Social welfare is sitting here. You didn't mention social welfare.
You say yourself. So we have legal aid. You can go to the legal aid. And then we have private practitioners who do pro bono. You can contact us. We may, if we don't take it ourselves, we may refer you to other colleagues who will take it for you. So don't sit there and be disadvantaged or go through the hardships alone when there is the law that can work to help you.
Dr. Anas.
Yes, I think I came to discuss adoption. Yeah. So when you want to adopt, please go to the regional office of the social welfare in your region of residence. See the regional director. Please don't talk to just anybody there. go and talk to the regional director, and the regional director will direct you to the appropriate officer in charge of adoption. Please don't send your lawyers to come and pick application forms. Don't send your lawyers to do the initial contact. The lawyers are there, all right. They will come in when the time comes. Please. You know, they also have a lot of things at hand. This is a parental role, so you must do it yourself. It's very important. Thank you.
We want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Nas and then Mrs. Akita for coming again tonight. And thank you for being our special guests, our listeners, and those who are watching us. I'll come your way again after the celebration. I can't wait for the celebration. I'll come back and I'll let you know exactly what happened. Same time, same day next week. Have a good night and sleep well. We love you. Let the